Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jordan Young, aka Sneakernomics. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about some of the most overrated sneakers of all time. Trigger warning, some of you might be upset with some of the selections in this list. And that is absolutely fine. We can have our disagreements. In fact, it is our disagreements that make this whole sneaker thing more fun. Now, the main criteria that I use to judge whether or not something is overrated is the price. I'm certainly not saying that these sneakers are not nice, good looking, appealing. In fact, I actually want some of the sneakers in this list. Let's get into it. And the first sneaker on the list are these, the Air Jordan 1 High Chicago. Yes, these are overrated. People go on about this shoe like it is the greatest sneaker ever created. And I'm here to tell you that up until The Last Dance, no one really gave much of a shit about the Chicago one. There was a time where people used to throw away the original Chicago ones because no one really cared about them. Given the price that a lot of these sneakers go for, and just given the furore and hype around the model, it is a deserving member of this list in my opinion, but I realize that is probably going to rub a lot of you up the wrong way. Next up, we have the Nike Air Yeezy 2 Red Octobers. I have owned this pair in the past, and it is a pretty special pair in hands, to be fair. I love the Yeezy 2 model, but the prices are crazy on pairs of these days. Some people are trying to charge up to 20K for pairs of these, and I honestly think these are the least desirable colorway from the Yeezy 2 set. So between the price and the hype and the colorway not being particularly nice, in my opinion, they are overrated. Now, I could just throw out a blanket statement and say all Jordan 4s are overrated, given how hyped up pretty much every model is these days, but there are a few standout models, and I don't think you can go past the Black Cat 4s for most overrated. The Tom Sachs Mars Yard 2.0. Now, I'm not just putting this shoe on the list because of the recent controversy around Tom Sachs, or should we say Tom sexual harassment. But the sneaker has always been a mystery to me as to why it's been so popular and so hype. I do understand the backstory behind it, being designed for the astronaut dude, originally being made from the crazy space age material, but the shoe has never been appealing to me. It's always felt incredibly underwhelming, and given how much they sell for and how much hype is around them, makes me think they are just incredibly overrated. The off-white Air Force Ones, particularly the MoMAs and the Complex Cons. You have an all-black Air Force One with a silver swoosh, you have an all-white Air Force One with a silver swoosh, and they are going for crazy money and are, for a lot of people, holy grails. Both of these sneakers are incredibly overrated for what they are. While we are on the subject of Air Force Ones, let's throw the V-Loans into the mix as well as being overrated. If you managed to cop a pair of these for retail, or you copped a pair for a really good price back in the day before they exploded in value, then okay, they're not necessarily overrated. But if you are considering what they sell for in today's market, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, for what they are, incredibly overrated. How are we doing so far? Are you with me on some of these takes, or do you think these are all misses? Feel free to let me know in the comments when the video is done what you thought of this list. Let's keep it moving with some more Jordan 1 highs. The Trophy Rooms, an incredibly overrated Jordan 1. I felt like this was a piggyback shoe because of how popular the Jordan 1 Chicago got after The Last Dance. This collaboration came at a time where that colorway could do no wrong, and I can't help but feel like the whole release was a big L for the whole sneaker culture and community. So between the laziness of the design, piggybacking on the popularity of the Chicago, and then the added nepotism and favoritism that came about during the release, put the price on top of that, and it just makes for an incredibly overrated sneaker in my opinion. You know, we had to put a Travis Scott sneaker on the list, and you could probably have your bevy of choice with regard to Travis models, but I've opted for the Travis 1 High Fragments. You could also put the Fragment Lows in here, to be fair, but there's just something about the blocking that just makes for a bit of an awkward feel to me. Another Jordan 4 that is massively overrated is the Off-Whites. Now, it is a beautiful shoe. I do own them, I do wear them, but they're a really tricky shoe to wear and keep clean. And once you have scuffed them or scraped them or beaten them up, they just look completely haggard. And so if you paid resale for them, it's the type of sneaker that you really don't want to wear very much for fear of messing them up. And that to me runs against the entire purpose of buying and owning a shoe in the very first place, making it for that reason, overrated. Now you could make an argument and say pretty much all Nike SBs are overrated, considering 5 years ago, even less, nobody really gave a crap about SBs. You could find a lot of them on sale, and a lot of the older pairs were floating around for really low prices as people just looked to cash out bits and pieces of their collection. But there are a few models that stand out as being overrated to me. One is the Chunky Dunkies. I'm not gonna lie, I still would like a pair of these, but the fact that they go for so much money and the fact that the quality is reputably very, very poor make these a standout contender for a place on the overrated list. What do you guys think? Another SB that I think is overpriced and overrated is the Strangeloves. Don't get me wrong, it's a pleasant colorway and a shoe that I wouldn't mind having in the collection, but anytime an SB is going for north of £1,000 or $1,200 or $1,300, it definitely gets me scratching my head. I personally prefer the holiday edition Sean Cliver pair to the Strangeloves. I like that sort of lighter blue suede compared to the pink. Last up with the SBs, it's gotta be the Lobsters. I'll put my hand up and say that I have been active in the lobster market for the past sort of 6 months to a year as I try to build out my lobster collection. But the more active I am in the market looking for them, the more I see how overpriced they are. You are going to struggle to find any pair of Lobsters other than the orange for a half decent steal price these days. And so the hype and the popularity has led to them being overpriced, and as you know by now, that qualifies them quite nicely for the overrated list. Last up, we have probably the hottest take of the bunch, the Nike Air Mags. Yeah, these are overrated. Think about how much they are going for these days. These are going for crazy money. Yeah, it's a great movie prop. Yes, I love that movie. It would have been cool to own a pair when they first came out 10 plus years ago. But in today's market, with today's hype and today's prices, they are incredibly overrated. Where would you ever wear these? Would you spend that money and then even want to wear these? I can't think of a more hyped up, overpriced sneaker that would have so little utility being worn in the real world. Overrated. That's it for today, guys. Feel free to let me know in the comments whether or not you agree or disagree with some of these takes. Some of them are pretty hot takes, I know. But again, it's the distinctions in our taste that make this entire sneaker game fun to play. And I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.